Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to paint this picture using just a single color. In this instance it's a Payne's Grey. If you find this useful, I post a video like this pretty much every week, so do like it and subscribe to my channel. And without any further delay, let's get started. So I started out by sketching out a rough outline of the picture. So I put in the mast, I put in the horizon line, and that just gives me a sense of how much space I'm going to dedicate to the sky. I'm also roughly blocking in the shape of the boat itself to remind me to not paint over it. I'm adding some wave shapes, again thinking about which areas need more or less value added to them. And importantly, I'm using these lines to remind myself which areas of the page I'm going to leave white, and I'm using that to essentially mark out the sea spray and the spray of the waves on this little boat. I'm adding the sail itself because I'm going to keep it white, and again it's just to remind me not to paint over it when I'm adding my first wash. Okay, now I'm just using clear water to wet some of the areas that the clouds are going to go into. I'm interested in preserving some hard edges as well as some soft edges. I'm being very careful around the boat itself to make sure that I leave the white spaces dry, so that again I have a little bit of a safety net when I'm painting the rest of the sky, trying to keep the sail itself as white as I possibly can. I take the water down to the horizon line, and again that gives me a bit of a safety net so that I don't go over the horizon line. So I'm going to be using Payne's Grey for this. I have some previous colors left over on the palette which are just going to be mixed into the Payne's Grey, but the vast majority of, or the rest of this, is going to be done exclusively using Payne's Grey. You can check out my other video which I made on the importance of values in watercolor, and this is essentially a video applying the concept of values, where we can create realistic paintings with just a single color simply by varying its value. So here I start out fairly using quite a watery mixture of Payne's Grey. I'm adding some some cloud shapes into this, playing around with hard edges, with soft edges. I'm being very careful again around the sail itself to make sure it stays white. As you can see, I'm using the brush, and there are kind of random strokes that the brush produces to create interesting cloud effects. A little bit more Payne's Grey, and now I'm just adding additional value into the mix. Usually the lower side, or the underbelly of the clouds, they tend to be darker than the upper half of the clouds. So this is what I'm keeping in mind, is that I'm adding darker values to the lower side of the cloud shapes. All of this is going to dry considerably lighter, so I am already thinking about loading this up with a little bit more value. Now I'm thinking about keeping this right hand side considerably darker than the left hand side, just again to add some interest and maybe provide a sense of this ominous storm that's coming into, that this boat is finding itself sailing into. The key thing about painting wet and wet is to make sure that we are not adding more water into the mixture, because as soon as we add more water, this water is going to start pushing the pigment out, and we're going to get what are called cauliflowers. So whenever I'm adding or I'm going in with a brush, I'm always making sure that I have plenty of pigment on the brush itself, so that my wash is uniform and it doesn't have these cauliflower effects. So I use a relatively dry brush to mop up that puddle of water that accumulated on the horizon line. And I use a hand towel to dry my brush off between these strokes. The main reason for it, again, is not to introduce extra water, so that my pigment is uniformly distributed. Okay, a little bit more Payne's gray, darkening it up towards the horizon. And connecting these cloud shapes from left to right, so that there is a communication between the left and the right side of the page. So even though the right hand side is going to be darker in value, I still wanted to create some level of communication between the left and the right side of this painting. And we're ready to proceed to paint the water itself. So I'm careful on the horizon because I want to leave some white space on the page to indicate this foaminess of the sea. There are many ways to achieve this, so we can either use some white gouache afterwards and just paint over top, but I always find it a really nice exercise to plan the wash and try and leave some of these white areas of the page and use the white of the page as the actual white of the painting. Now you will note that the sea itself, to create separation between the sky and the sea, I'm using considerably darker values as my first wash for the sea itself. So there's a clear separation between the sky and the lower third of the page, which is the sea. I'm leaving some white spaces at the bottom of the page as well, to indicate a foaming of the crashing waves. Now I'm adding shadow shapes into the waves itself and this is where this picture is going to begin to make a little bit more sense to the viewer. As soon as we start adding some darker values, form begins to emerge. And again, because this is still fairly wet, I'm being very careful to add more pigment than water into the sea, so that I avoid cauliflower developing as I paint this. The whites of the page can also be very useful for creating hard edges, because again, those areas are dry. So I already am really liking the effects that are being produced towards the horizon, where I have slightly fuzzier edges that almost indicate this kind of that faint spray of the sea, and then I have the harder edges that show the concrete shapes against the white foam. So now shift to a smaller brush, and I'm charging it with plenty of Payne's grey pigment because I want it to look extra dark. And I'm just painting in the bow of the ship. And this is the focal point. This is the darkest dark set against the lightest light of the page. So the bow of the ship against the white foam. And I'm negatively painting these waves crashing into the ship itself. And that's a really good effect because all I need to do is just leave plenty of white space and then negatively paint the ship into the white space in order to create the illusion of waves crashing onto the side and into the actual on board of the ship. I switched to a fine liner brush. So this is a very fine tip brush, and I'm turning the painting sideways so that I can get a comfortable line, because my plan now is to draw the mast. The mast has to be straight, so I have to do this quite quickly. And I also would like to get a little bit of a dry brush effect in there, so because this mast is in the distance after all, so I don't want it to be particularly uniform. This is adding a little bit of value into the bottom half of the mast. Again, I'm not particularly worried about skipping lines, because I think that's the whole point, is that these lines aren't really meant to be uniform. They're in the distance, so we're not meant to see them fully, and I think it just adds an additional effect of motion into the painting itself. I really like this fine liner brush because it's got a really fine tip, but then it's got a fat bottom as well, so I can create some really interesting shapes. I actually use it quite a lot for foliage and for drawing some fine brushes. I'm just fuzzying up these lines of rope with my finger just to create again a sense of movement. This is a good time to step back from the painting and look at it in its entirety, see if it's missing anything, if there's anything that we need to bring to focus, or if it looks okay. I think when we paint, it's often that we focus on the details, and it's very important to step back and to take in the painting as a whole so that we see how this whole composition comes together. As you can see, I tried to do this painting all in one go without waiting for any of the layers to dry fully. So I'll start with the largest, which is the sky. I then move to the sea itself. Whilst I paint the sea, the sky dries, and I'm able to then move on to the boat and confidently paint harder, drier strokes of the mast and of the bow and of the various lines into the sky, knowing that it would have dried already. And I think this is it. So here we are. We've got a little painting of a boat in the sea, caught in a storm, all done in a single color, Payne's grey, where we essentially used value to create realistic effects. So if you like this video, do subscribe to my channel. I tend to post these every single week. And thanks very much for watching. Take care.